Hello and welcome to Las Blancas Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Therapy with Las Blancas. We are here to, I don't know, do what at this point. We are going into this without an agenda. Um, this is the pod after the first leg of Copa de la Reina against Barcelona. It wasn't great. So, to begin the proceedings, I would like to hold a 10-second uh, I'd like to hold a 10-second pause to 10-second silence just to commemorate whatever happened on the pitch. You guys can moan about it, can pray in silence, and yeah, just count to 10 and we'll get to go. But yeah, jokes aside, we lost the game 5-0. And at this point, if I'm not making jokes about it, I think I'm going to be pretty pissed. So I think this is the coping mechanism that basically I've chosen. But terrible game, terrible game. Uh, so we'll get into it. We'll talk about the lineup. There was some heavy changes. There was a surprise exclusion of a player from the squad as well right before the game. And yeah, I mean a lot of bad things to talk about, but we'll see how we get through them. But first of all, Kanita, how you doing after that game?
Honestly, I stand firmly by this. It's an overrated fixture. I don't know why everyone is so excited ahead of these Clásicos. Like, just calm down. It's it's not that serious at this point. I just at some point I just burst out laughing. After like the second goal, I just I have to laugh at this point. There's nothing else to do, and like you said, like if weren't um I weren't laughing, I don't know. It is a good coping mechanism, I have to say. And yeah, not good, honestly. 5-0, and it's a rainy Copa game, so yeah, traumas are back.
And on March 6th,
Yeah.
nonetheless, like that makes it even 10 times worse.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, let's start by looking at the lineup because if we start talking about the game even before I managed to tune in properly and settle down and you know think about making any notes, we had already conceded. So let's start by looking at the lineup that was put up here by Toril. So there were rotations as we mentioned. The fullback situation has been quite weird, but I think before getting into the lineup, the first thing that we need to add to this to provide context is Linda was excluded from the squad list because apparently her playing those 270 minutes in the She Believes Cup does not help, and it was a precaution. So she was left out of the squad for a game against Barcelona, and she was chosen to play a few minutes against Athletic Club. Like it makes zero sense to me about why you would not put arguably your second best player on the pitch in a game against one of the best side, if not the best side in world football. Like why? Why would you not just give her the rest against Athletic Club so that she can be ready for Barcelona to at least play 60 minutes? That I it was baffling. At first I thought it was some injury that must be a muscle overload or something like that, but it was plain and simple precaution, which is even wide. So let's start by looking at the lineups. Misa in goal, Antonia starting as the right back, Mendes and Lakrar centre back partnership, Yasmin at left back, Angeldal, Toletti double pivot, and a front four of Naomi Feller, Caroline Weir, Olga, and Brun. Now, when I saw the lineup, my first reaction was, has he actually dropped Atenea, which I did not think was going to, happen much because she is a part of, she's a main fixture in this squad. But then I thought about it and I'm like, okay, Olga and Feller are starting. Maybe it's something to do with us trying to go defensive because we know, Olga has played left back all her career mostly, and Feller has incredible defensive output. So these two players can run up and down the pitch for the entire 90, and that is what you want. So I was like, okay, maybe that is the idea, to provide support on the wider areas and then have that counter attacking threat with two players with great engine. None of that happened. Before any of this can come to fruition, were already 3-0 down. But yeah, what were your thoughts when you saw the squad announcement, when you saw the squad and when then you saw the lineups?
Remember when I said the other three games Yasmin started, and she started without Olga, obviously, but Olga would come in later on, and Yasmin wouldn't go go off. She would just stay where she was, and Olga would go on the left wing. And I said that I noticed a pattern. You said it was a fluke. This wasn't a fluke. Why would he? I don't know. I don't know what this. What? Why he put this lineup against Barcelona. I don't know what. I don't understand. Like the fullback situation in this game was terrible. I don't know. It was such a bad misunderstanding for both of them, and I think, I don't know, like in theory that this would, like, on paper, obviously it would look like, okay, we have a bit more stability with Olga and Feller, because like you said, Feller has a defensive qualities as well. But I don't know. Made no sense. Sometimes things just don't make sense against Barcelona. Like, maybe this was a bad idea from the start. And Yasmin and Olga starting against Barcelona like this. Yeah, I don't think this was something that, it should have been done. I think he just lost it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you see how it panned out, it definitely did not do any sort of favors to him. At the start, I was like, maybe this is because we want to have more numbers on the flanks and sort of double down on their wingers who are actually very, very threatening. But none of that mattered because none of those players actually ever provided any sort of support to the fullback, which felt like design because none of the midfield four were able to ever support or provide any kind of screening presence to the backline, which is very weird in such a setup. And Toletti Angeldal double pivot, I'm not a big fan of. I've said it before as well. It doesn't help, and even more so when it's Angeldal playing the deeper role. Like it makes zero sense. It's a player who succeeds or does well playing in half spaces, and then you put her as the deepest midfielder, and the player who can play as the box-to-box midfielder, you force her to do all of the attacking stuff, and it's just stupid. It's outright stupid, and that is what happened. 70 seconds in to the game, and Salma has already scored. Fastest goal Barcelona has scored against Real Madrid in whatever. The previous fastest was 4 minutes, which is still very fast. Like conceding inside 5 minutes is is really bad. And we have managed to top that and concede within 2 minutes. I hope we don't go down from here. But that first goal itself, right? Like it tells a story, right?
Yeah.
Nobody it happens from the left, from the right to the left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Move begins on the right hand side. Jasmine not going there to close them down. No enough time to pick the pass, and they do pick the pass. Nobody is marking anyone at the far post. I have no idea what Antonia was doing at the far post. Naomi Feller is nowhere to be seen in the frame. She's not coming back. She's not tracking back. She's not doing anything. And there are two players at the far post making a completely unmarked run because Antonia thought coming narrow to somehow mark the player in front of her while completely losing track of whoever is behind her is the best idea. And this was not just a isolated, incident where this happened. Okay, this happened. We weren't logged in at the kickoff, and we conceded. Fine, it happens. This kept happening the entire game. Yasmin did not close down anything that came down that flank. She was really unsure when to step up, when to step back, and she always retreated, which gave players like Carolina Graham Hansen so much time in the world that she would just drag her with one move, and there would be acres of real estate to just bomb forward for them between the center back and the left back. And that is what they did. They kept attacking that. They kept putting the ball in, and then somebody would attack it from the far side or through the middle because nobody was marking anybody. It was the worst performance from our defense that I've seen this entire season, and it is honestly one of the worst fullback performances that I have ever seen. Like both the fullbacks having such terrible game is like I have never seen that honestly. Like it was really bad. No, like the stage is yours. I don't have anything else to add. You can comment on any of the goals, any of the 5 goals that they scored, like, and whatever you wanna add up to.
Uh, this is how I categorize the goals. First, second, and fourth goal were basically the same thing happening all over again, the third goal, the Misa thing, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. And the third category is obviously the fifth goal, which, you know, fine, pretty, long ball from behind, again from the right, but it from long ball into Rolfo there. I just knew Rolfo would, like, when she came on. Okay, she will probably score. She didn't score, but she assisted Payor for her hat trick. So very, very good. And yeah, those are three categories of the goals I had. It's just so stupid how the same exact thing kept happening for 3 times in the second half. Well, yeah, obviously it kept happening throughout the game, but in the goals, like 3 goals happened from the same exact, like it was the same look. Like for me, I don't know why. Like CGH, and our whole thing that we had going on. Yeah, not a good combination for us, honestly. And bad mark, and like you said, I don't know what Antonia was marking, what she thought she was marking. Um, I don't know. Since so wild.
And they say you fool me once, it's fine. Fool me twice, like it's on you or whatever, and then fool me thrice, then I am the stupid person. Like that is what happened. Like conceding the same goal 3 times in the same game is, and not making any adjustments whatsoever. When you're we were 3-0 down before halftime, before 30 minutes.
Mm.
Before 30 minutes, we had conceded three, and that is not acceptable. Like at that point, we had to just give everything up and be like, okay, we are not conceding anymore, no matter what happened. Like go in a 10-man block. I don't care. Go in a 10-player block. It's fine, but don't concede anymore. That should be your primary focus at that point when you have conceded three goals inside 30 minutes. But no, I mean, if you watch the remaining for 15 minutes of the first half, we are still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
The lines, like, I was really frustrated by the fact that how, number one, how passive we were. Whenever they had the ball, we were not pressing at all. We would
Yeah.
just fall off into this very, very weird mid block. And the worst part was there was no compactness between the midfield line and the defense line. The midfield line was doing nothing. They were not tracking anyone. Olga had just given up on multiple runners from that right hand side for Barcelona. Like, she was not tracking anyone, and Yasmin had no clue what to do. When Caroline Graham Hansen just received the ball, she would stick slightly wide, and Yasmin would be just drawn towards the ball, and not even quickly, not even very promptly. It would be slow slide steps taken towards the ball on the right hand side, and there would be acres of space between her and Maria Mendez then, and that's game over. Like, I don't get it. What was going on? Like, where was the coordination? What what were the instructions for the midfield line? What were they asked to do exactly? Because they were doing nothing. Like, that midfield line was non-existent. We were just playing with four players placed at the back, not defending. Then we had a line of four players who were not supporting anything, neither progression nor defense. And then we had two players up front who were just starved of opportunities and touches of the on the ball. So it was very, very bad. And at the start of the season, when Eva Payor signed and she scored her first hat trick, I said, like, this is the first of many hat tricks. This duo of Caroline Graham Hansen and Eva Payor are going to destroy this league and blah blah blah. And they are destroying this league. And unfortunately, we are a part of that league, and we are getting absolutely destroyed by them as well. So I don't know what to say to that. But yeah, I mean, she got another hat trick this season. I think that's her fourth of the season. If I remember correctly, she scored two in the league now, 1 year, and I think one in the Champions League as well. So four hat tricks in a season already, maybe. And I mean, we made it easy for them. Even if she was hitting straight at the goalkeeper was just letting it go. Misa did not have a great game. The entire back five were absolutely terrible. So I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Let's before we go into full on therapy mode and talk about what next, and where do we go from there, because such a loss can be very deflating, especially when you have games coming thick and fast. We have a game this Sunday, I think, against Sevilla. So
Sevilla.
there is literally no time to sit down and fret upon it. But such a loss can really, really tumble down everything. And we have big games coming against Arsenal. So yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into what next. But let's look at the team shape, the passing network. I mean, there is nothing much to talk about in the game. Like, at that point, tactical, these things became irrelevant when you go down. When you go down 3-0 in inside 30 minutes. So this is our team shape, basically, if you can even call it a shape or whatever.
It's
This
a
is what
shape.
This is what we were trying to do on the pitch. And I am going to highlight somebody that we also mentioned. She is a fullback, right? And for a fullback to not have an exchange of five passes with either the center back or her flank partner up front, it is very bad. You know, usually when we progress the ball, we usually go wide to our fullbacks, and then they are tasked with, maybe playing an exchange with the wingers or running with the ball themselves. That is how we usually progress the ball. We progress it via the wide areas. But Antonia's positioning, the defending, whatever she was, the way she was presenting herself as an option a lot of the times, there was nothing. That is why I keep saying that this was arguably the worst fullback performance I've seen. And, I mean, I can go on and absolutely talk about the players and their performances, but uh, the, a part of the blame also has to go to the manager for not setting up better, not having devised a build up plan, and not having devised out of possession shape for the team. This is all a tactical disaster. Weir and Olga are the two furthest forward player in the first half here. Bruno is somewhere here, and it's Angeldal playing deeper than Toletti, which makes again no sense. So I just don't get it. And look at Barcelona. Look at how evenly they are spaced. Look at how they find their players. Look at how the exchanges are there, except for Fire, who is supposed to be that focal point, who is not asked to be a part of the build-up. She is the out and out striker. She is just the furthest forward player, and that just makes sense. This is how a 4-3-3 should pan out. They have one fullback who is slightly conservative. The other one is a winger turned fullback, so she's always attacking, and they find that balance, right? And that is how it should be. There are exchanges between the fullbacks and the center back, and look at us. Just one player in the opposition half, rest all average position inside our own half, and still not managing to keep lines compact is quite baffling, honestly. Anything you would like to add to this, Kanita?
Looking at our shape, I would just say that this game was like an attempt to have a game. I don't even know if we can classify it as an attempt. What is this shape? Like when I first saw, like when I just stayed there and stared at the screen like, what is this? Like with my mouth wide open, like how is this bad? And Antonia not having a single connection. This like baffling, just mind blowing. I don't know. This is like peak shithousery, I think, from this team. I don't know what else to call it. And just second that green dot with Barcelona, CGH. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, easily the most threatening player, and she always does it against us. So yeah, I mean, good for you. Good for
yeah.
kicking down people who are already down. I guess. Great job, Carolyn Graham Hansen. It's so annoying. I'm so pissed. I'm trying to put down that anger. I'm trying to push it down. Otherwise, I'll lash out on whatever transpired on the pitch, because this was easily our worst performance. And you know, uh, moving on and talking about where do we go from here, right? Like, this is a manager who is not in his first year, is not in his second year, right? He has been here for a long time now. He has got talented players. That's the team has gotten rid of players that he did not prefer. He did not want to use, right? So this is basically at least 90% his squad, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
these are players that he wants to keep, he wants to play and utilize. And yet, whenever we come up in big games, especially against Barcelona, we somehow manage to play even worse. So where is the progress, right? Like, we have gone somewhat 600 minutes now without scoring against Barcelona. The last goal against them was what, 3 years ago now, almost 2 years, 3 years
So
ago.
yeah, a bit over two. Yeah.
And I'll I was just going through Barcelona's game, and Eibar, Madrid CFF again, right? Levante, right? And Tenerife, Man City, and Betis, Tenerife again, St. Polten, and Levante again, and Espanyol, right? Madrid CFF once again, Granada, and Real Sociedad. The teams that I've just read out are all teams that have scored against Barcelona this season, right? There have been a lot of talks about how this side is arguably one of the weaker sides that Barcelona has had in the last couple of years, because this side is still finding its footing. The managerial change has not helped, and there are some issues in the defense, and there are players positions that are lacking. So this Barcelona look beatable across Europe to bigger sides, right? Like Lyon, Chelsea, and all. They are hoping that they can get the better of this Barcelona. And I mean, fair enough, right? When even in team that Barcelona had assembled in the last couple of years, even having that glimmer of hope, I think it is a big thing for teams, and they will capitalize on that, just like we saw Man City earlier in the season capitalize on it. Levante was an absolute smash and grab, but they still managed to capitalize on Barcelona's struggles. And yet, for the last 2 years, we have never even done that. We have never found the back of the net, and I don't care if if our goals were like ruled out for offside. Those don't count. Like you should be able to score a legal goal, and we haven't been able to do that, which is honestly, like, we are the second best squad in Spain. If teams like Eibar are scoring against them, if teams like you know Betis are scoring against them, Tenerife are scoring against them, and on multiple occasions, then you have to rethink why a team like Real Madrid can't score against them, like not even a goal, even though we are facing them multiple times in different competitions. We just can't do that. Like, is this really the level that we aspire to be? Because now it's been a while. You can't give the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, there are injuries, and there maybe he doesn't have his own players. Maybe his vision will be fulfilled better by having players that he wants. It's all there. Like, this is a really, really talented squad, and yet it performs worse than some of the league's bottom half teams. So at this point, I don't know where do we go from there, especially such a big defeat in the month that we have coming up. Now we have Sevilla, we have Deportivo, and then we have Barcelona somewhere in again. Then we have Arsenal, 2 legs against Arsenal, which is another massive game for us. So if we keep playing like this, this month of March, I mean, we are already out of, we did not win the Super Copa. We are out, like almost out. We are not going to beat them 6-0 and have a remontada at Barcelona zone, nonetheless. So we are out of Copa de la Reina. The league is like never an option because we will, for that to happen, we'll have to probably beat Barcelona, which is not happening again and doesn't seem like happening again. Plus, it's not like we are level on points either. And Champions League is going to be a big test again, right? So, all in all competitions, we are quite in a very bad place, especially after such a deflating loss. What do you think, Kanita? Where do we go from here?
The thing is that I I won't be surprised if it's like, okay, we finished second on the table like comfortably. We were never It was never a question. And we also qualified for the quarterfinals of the Champions League, like, never mind like how that draw pans out against Arsenal. It would still be okay after 2 years of failing, miserably failing, finally get into quarterfinals. I think that's just another excuse to keep him for another year that he has on contract. But it's insufferable. It's really insufferable. Like, we still see players leaving. Like, we had Oyane leave not even a month ago for the same thing of excluding players he just doesn't like or stopped liking, and still the same thing has been going on for he has been here for 3 years, full calendar years, and like something maybe like 3 months, and there's throughout these 3 years absolutely nothing has changed. Like, every single complaint I've had since the beginning, it's still there. Like, at the beginning, maybe the first season, you was like, okay, with the benefit of the doubt, and it came in mid-season, but even like the very next season when he started, we got Weir and others, and uh it was still nothing. Like, I didn't see anything, any improvement that I can say that, okay, I've seen some improvement in X player because of him, you know. No, in the team, the way the team plays. No, no, like, if there's some spark or something, one speck, like one factor in the game, then maybe the player create between themselves. We see it maybe for like, I don't know, 2 weeks maybe at tops, and we never see that again. Maybe like I mentioned, the short corner routines between Atenea and Weir, like the were happening like 2 years ago. I still remember that very vividly, like from 2 years ago, and I was really excited to see it back, like a couple of times against Athletic, the last game. But I think there was only a few fluke by the players, and I don't know, like, these kind of things as players themselves, with with the chemistry they have, with the talent that they have individual as well, like that they create between each other. He also diminishes that, and he also destroys this destroys the chemistry by just, like, just by not by stopping liking, like, players, like, immediate, like, I don't know, all of a sudden just keeping them out of the squad, or just stopping playing them, and of course they will leave, like Oyana. Like, this is crazy. This is doing win 2025, and these instabilities, this is unstable. This is managing, like, unstable management of the whole squad. The I'm not even talking about rotations, like, fine rotations. At some point they're kind of now they make a bit more sense because of the injuries we have now, right? And maybe, we can say it will pan out better than if he didn't do these rotations. But I don't know. He just has to go. We need another coach. I I could sworn to you that I think that he could have just left after the first season. Like even like he was renewed after the first season he came, and which was weird. Like he had like a year and a half there. He could have just stayed like the full season after that, and but no, he just kept free renewals. This is crazy. I don't know. He has until 2026. I just want him to leave. I don't know. Like these humiliations against our biggest rival. Like it's because of the history in the men's football, but Barcelona is not even our rival. I can't even call them our rival. Like we're not a match against them. Like we prove it time and time again, every single game, and we're averaging like more than 4 goals a game, like conceding more than 4 goals a game for the past 2 years, and obviously scoring a 0.0. So I don't know. This is just humiliating, to say it at best, but. Yeah, I'm sick of it. I don't know. I don't know what the board is doing, what they're thinking, if they're thinking, actually. I don't know. But these questions come up in these therapy pods, every single therapy pod after every single Clasico. I swear, I just want these to end. I just want him to leave, to stop having these discussions. They tire me.
Has any individual player significantly improved under Toril? No. Has the team actually progressed tactically and evolved into some sort of vision that he has had? No. Uh, has there been any sort of improvement in the squad, speaking from a tactical POV? No. The squad has just gotten better. Now we have made signings, we have had great quality, great quality influx in the squad. Now players like Toletti arriving, players like Leopold's arriving, Angeldal, players like Brune, now players like Linda Caicedo, who was chased after by every big club, right? And these players chose to play for Madrid, and that is the reason why these players bail us out every week, with bangers, with you know, Callan Weir things, Linda Caicedo doing her things, and it just happens, we win games that are winnable, but then when we come against a tougher opponent, we are nowhere to be seen. Like today, the worst part for me was, I think, apart from Irune, who came on in the second half and had a really positive outing. She was chasing down the ball. She was closing everybody down. She was showing everything that was missing in the first half in the team. There was no proactiveness in the team before in the first half, and I think apart from her, the entire team was quite dull, and they just did not show up, and that was the worst part for me. Like, losing is fine. You lose 2-0, that is fine. But we just didn't turn up. And as soon as we conceded inside 2 minutes, all of our shoulders just went down and we were out of the game. Like, at this point, after these many heavy defeats across 2 whole years, I think that has got to take some psychological toll as well. I think this team slightly feels inferior whenever coming up against Barcelona, and I think that is a big, big problem because maybe you can't improve tactically before you change the coach, but the mental aspect of it, the mentality to go into a game and despite whatever the situation is, despite wherever we are in the table and wherever the opposition are in the table, you have to go in with a mindset that you are going to win this game and you're going to take the 3 points from this game. You're going to beat your opponent. But today, there was none of it. Like it looked like we went in with the intention that we will try to not, um, lose by a big margin, or will be slightly conservative, but none of that happened. We were all over the place on the pitch. We once again lost very big, and we once again failed to score any goal. So nothing is happening. And at this point, when you are at this stage, in your 3 year cycle at the club, then there have to be serious questions to be asked, because there is not one aspect that we have improved on since Toril's takeover. I don't accredit the part that we have had talented players. I don't think any player that we have signed has come. Uh, and the thing that lured them was the fact that they are going to play under Alberto Toril. Like, that is not the pull that is bringing talents like weird talents like Linda Caicedo to play for Real Madrid, right? Like, that is not the reason they are coming here. And but they will that will be the reason they leave the club. And at this point, after so many worse performances uh, against big clubs in the Champions League, in the league, I think there has to be serious questions asked. I don't know how bad it can get. Champions League is going to be very challenging. We are not out, but it's going to be very challenging. And then next round, we will face an even bigger challenge. So, thinking of all of that, we are already out of, as we mentioned, Super Copa. We did not win. Copa de la Reina, we are almost out. League, we are almost out. And realistically speaking, the chances of us winning the Champions League are quite slim. So this is another season where that has been an absolute failure. If you come up with saying the fact that oh, we were only behind these many points in the league, we never stood a chance. Like, let's be real here. Even if it's like 6 points gap from the top, Barcelona beat us twice in the season. That is what it will come down to. And we can't beat them. We can't score against them. So it's all really sad. Honestly, like, you want your women's team to be sort of able to replicate at least some part of what your men's side has achieved. Real Madrid as an institution is known for their success at European and domestic level, and you would want that same ruthlessness and same way the men's side is treated. Because on the men's side, if you end up losing 3 big games in a row, you are out, right? And this is a manager that has lost every big game in sight in his 3 year tenure. Every single big game. And every single big game has been a terrible performance. And yet he still has a job. In fact, he's earning mid-season renewals, which is wild to me, which makes me feel like the women's team is maybe an afterthought. It was maybe because we did not have a women's team for so long that when the whole 2019 movement happened, we felt shame, and we just created one, right? There has to be conscious effort to improve the team, and this has to come from the top as well. These are not like scrub players. These are some of the best players in Spain. These are some of the best players across the globe, multiple countries. There are players who have won the best player for their country in a year, over their entire careers. These are players with massive potential, and all of it is getting wasted. Like, Atenea joined us way back, and if you look at her progression, nothing has changed. Linda Caicedo, she joined us at 18. She's 20 now. She's kicking along, but I don't think there has been one element that I can say, oh, Toril improved that. She has been the same player that dominated the under 17 scene, that dominated the under 20 scene, and is currently dominating the senior side. right? Caroline Weir, don't know. Redondo, don't know. Somehow she's being seen as an attacking midfielder this season. So, all of these choices, they add up and they make you feel like whoever is taking these decisions is maybe not the best person to take them and maybe are clueless as well. So, I can keep going, I can keep talking about this for an entire hour, but it won't change anything. And that is what is needed right now, change. And the sooner it comes, the better. But yeah, anything you would like to add, Kanita, before we can like wrap it up? I don't think anybody receives the MVP. Maybe like Eva Paiva from the opposition. I don't think we can hand over any MVP awards to our team players, even if Irune did quite well as a sub. But any closing thoughts before we wrap it up?
I just while we're at Irune, the second half, um, listen, the ball got much slower because the pitch was a pool at that point. It was raining since the beginning,
Yeah.
and the ball was so much slower in the second half. So I was like telling to myself, yeah, like the pitch is the only one defending here. But my bad guys, that isn't true. Irune was doing as well. So yeah, listen, this isn't a game to give out the MVP, but Irune deserves it. I mean, listen, if you got on at halftime, it was already 4-0, and to have that much energy to play and to do everything she did, like she was on all sides of the pitch. She was even up front trying to get the ball in. She also had a shot. She was recovering. She was covering for the defense in the box, everything. And yeah, but here's the thing about something you were talking about. Well, the mentality that yeah, we fell after those 70 seconds, but the thing is, I don't know what the mentality for these games are. What this mentality for these games, the Clásicos, is because wow, it's like they don't show up. It's like even before the game, you already know it's lost because it's been yeah 2 years since we saw them play a Clasico. Just go on the pitch and play it. Just show up. Because it was 4-0 and 5-0. That was the last 2 years, right? And when you listen to Barcelona players, what they say, how they speak about this, and they're obviously they won every single Clasico, so they have the reason to be confident. This is the 17th Clasico, by the way. And but they talk they speak about it with so much fire in them. Like, it's always a special to win against Madrid and blah, blah. And listen, people say, okay, they're obsessed over, Real Madrid and stuff. Yeah, it might be, but they also have a reason to be, right? Because, historically, well, classically, it's supposed to be the biggest game, and they won every single one of them. We don't show up. They have this fire in them, and I don't know, like what the way they talk, and on the other side, even excluding our players, like our players are very obviously media trained, okay, saying yeah we're getting there, but the coach, we didn't have any press conferences now, which is very weird. We usually have them for the cup. But he keeps just talking about the good things. He keeps inventing the good things, like the good things he invented about the Super Cup final for some reason. No, it's just he was just he's just living in delusion. Like this is the man that is managing the team, that's leading the team, and it's supposed to be the face of the team when they lose, and you have to give out a post-match statement. Just rainbows and unicorns. Hey, we're getting there. We're a good team, and I still can't believe he keeps saying this thing like, at the end of the day, we're a good team, and these games against Barcelona don't matter. Da, 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 da. It's not really a measure of our quality, and he keeps saying that, like, the measure of our quality, it's not like, if big games aren't a measure of our quality, then what is? I don't know. Maybe the Espanyol games where we win like 5-0 every game, or the Twente game where we win 1-7-0, or 6-0, I don't know. And I don't know what's measure of quality for him, but yeah, this sort of mentality, just like, for him, it's like meh. And then the board, I guess, they're just, I don't know. Do they keep their eyes closed on purpose or whatever? I don't know. Or they're saying meh the same way as Toril is on this. If they're all about rainbows and unicorns like he is. And I don't know. I just don't see this fire. Don't see this will to actually progress, because I feel like they already, like, Toril and the board, I think they already think that this is the progress. I feel like, no, not just feel, I fear that this is the case. I don't have any more explanations for this. I genuinely don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very difficult to explain whatever is going on, and I think as fans, it's very frustrating watching your team not even step onto the field in a big game like this. Um, and obviously, this game has a lot of eyes. A lot of neutral fans are tuned in for this. So every single goal that we concede is that much more significant, that much more ridiculed by the opposition, that much more eye-grabbing situation for the neutrals as well. Because this game will be talked about. There will be articles written. There will be talk about how Barcelona has dominated Madrid ever since their inception or whatever. And it's fair because it's a big game. It pulls in a lot of people. And in every time we have stepped onto the field on a big game, we have not really been up up for it. And honestly, with a squad like this, there cannot be any excuses. So
Yeah.
yeah, only thing we can do is hope for a change because a change is needed, and the change is needed right now. Better they say, it's never too late, but I think it's already too late for this. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we see a change. And that is the only way forward, I feel like, because we can't continue with the same thing where, in the summer we'll add some quality players will be joining maybe. And once again, come mid-season, we are out of all the tournaments and we have lost every single big game in the season. That can't keep happening season after season. So yeah, I guess that is it for the therapy. I hate having these pods. I would love to talk about the tactics of the game. I would love to talk about how we took shape, how the opponent took shape, what they were doing differently, how we managed to break them down, how they managed to find holes in our organization. But when you concede 3 goals inside the first 30 minutes, all of that goes out of the picture. And he, there were no tactics on the pitch today. There were no players on the pitch today, which is the worst thing to say, honestly, because I know all these players care, but they
Yeah.
just did not show up for this game. So, yeah, as harsh as it sounds, it was just a really, really bad performance from everyone on the pitch. Like there was not one single saving grace in this entire performance. So yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. As fans, we can only hope for things to get better and hope dies last. So let's see. Let's see what happens next. Up next, we have Sevilla on 9th. As we mentioned, month of March is going to be absolute absolute mayhem. And after winning the first game at San Mamés, we have went on to lose 5-0 at home on our club's anniversary. So that's a great start for this fun. That will boost a lot of confidence. And hopefully next game we win and we try to recuperate that lost confidence, because we have another big game, because this tie is done. I feel so. We have another big game. The next big game for us is definitely the Arsenal game. Hopefully we are better prepared for that one. But yeah, as always, thank you for listening to us. Thank you for your comments on the previous one. And please share this with anyone you think would be interested. If you have any like-minded friends who love women's football or love the Real Madrid, please share it with them. It helps us a lot. And please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. So yeah, I guess we'll leave it at that for this one. Until next time, Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.